going on, Airsofters? This is Deranged Professor speaking, and today I'm looking at an item that was sent to me to do a review on and kind of test out for Airsoft. This is a Feyachi, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, Feyachi 1.5 by 5 times zoom, flip to side mount, monocle basically, or magnifier. It's actually really good construction. You can find this on Amazon. The owner of the store sent this to me to have me kind of test it out, take a look at it, see what I thought. It's in pretty good construction actually. It's a pretty solid piece here. It's actually got a pretty decent amount of weight to it. So if weight is something you're really concerned about with your airsoft gun, this is definitely something that you may want to kind of think about. And that's for any magnifier. They are not lightweight. When it comes to like your airsoft versions or your ones that are less expensive. Kind of going over some of the features. It has a flip to side mount, but this flip to side mount is not the spring loaded type, so you actually push the button in and then you rotate it, and it locks, so you don't actually have this like bouncing around when you're running with the gun, and then a nice solid click when you put it back. You could move it from either side, basically undo these Allen screws up top, and you just flip the side around. So for me, I'm right-handed, so I'd actually rather have this flip towards the right side so it doesn't obstruct my non-dominant eye, and I get that nice peripheral view. But for someone who's left-handed, you might want to re-switch it over to the other side. On top, it has really nice markings all the way from 1.5 to 5 here. When I first got it, I was kind of confused as to how you tell which way you're, like when you're selecting different power levels. And if you look on the ring here, I don't know if you can kind of see that very well, there's a little extra lump right there. That is what tells you where you're kind of at, and it kind of gives you a range. So like when you're on 1.5, there's really nothing that says specifically right here that's 3, or right there that's 4. You kind of turn it to where it gets kind of clear, and then you get a good sight picture at that level. The other thing that was kind of odd to me, or that was difficult for me to figure out, was when I first got this and I mounted it to the rail, this was the objective side, or this side was not lining up correctly with my red dot, my T1. So I was trying to figure out, it was really kind of bothering me. It wasn't off by much, but it was sitting down a little lower. The way that you fix that, and it doesn't come with the key for it, is these 2 screws here. Basically, you loosen those, and when you do, you can see that cut there. It allows this whole assembly right here to pivot up and down slightly. So you can actually adjust it to where it will fit nicely and line up perfectly with the red dot that you have mounted on your gun. Again, it only allows for a certain amount. Now, obviously, once you rotate this, you'll have to loosen these screws a little bit and readjust your scope here to make sure that everything is lined up nicely the way you like it. It has 2 adjustment points, your up and down, your left and right. Those are very nice. They're very solid. So when you're actually adjusting it, you feel like it's going to stay in place. There have been a lot of guys that actually use these on the real guns and have said that it holds 0 very well. So I'm not too concerned about me losing the center point on this. Now you may say, this is a magnifier, what do you need center point for? Basically, you center your red dot to your scope also. So when you flip this over, your red dot's not high on the objective or low or left or right. It's right in the center, so that way you're centered every single time. For airsoft, basically, if you just put that dot in the center there, and it helps you track your BBs. And you may actually find, depending on what distance you're shooting at, that you might actually want your dot to be set a little bit differently, so that you can kind of see the trajectory of the BB a little bit more clearly. As far as picture goes, 1.5 is extremely clear, and so is 5 times on this. So if you're in the 1.5 or you're in the 5 times position, the picture is absolutely crystal clear. When it comes to 3 and 4, it's kind of a guessing point, and it really depends on how close your eye is to the objective side here, or how far away. So some of that can actually change the way that between 3 and 4, as far as how the picture quality is. And that was something I was not too excited about, but to be honest, for airsoft, the 1.5 times zoom is really nice. It just gives me that little bit extra to see farther out, and the 5 times is really nice too. But the 3 and the 4 just kind of seemed a little bit off. Maybe it may just be a defect with this sight, this optic that I got, but just a little bit fuzzy, grainy around the edges. Whereas with 5 and 1.5, it's perfectly clear all the way around. And I haven't honestly seen any other one else in their reviews say anything about that, so that might just be something special that happened with my sight that he sent me. It's just off a little bit. It's got some nice rubber texturing on it. I mean, it's a magnifier. It does its job. It's not overall too heavy, to be honest, but like I said, if you're really concerned about weight on your airsoft rifle, this is something that you want to really consider, is take weight into account. I actually have contemplated, the eye relief on it is not too bad. Actually, in 1.5, you can keep your eye back about that far, a little bit farther, and you still have a clear picture. So as far as eye relief goes, it's really good at the 1.5. 5, I mean, you obviously have to get a little bit closer to it to get that nice, perfect, clear picture that you're looking for. But this actually wouldn't be a half bad optic to run if you were just running this by itself, just to track your BBs at farther ranges without a red dot. It's really got a really great clear picture at 1.5 and really a clear picture at 5. So if you're looking for a small magnifier to just take those shots at longer ranges, really would recommend something like this. It does its job very well. Basically, when you get this, you get the key that allows you to adjust these screws. You also get a micro cleaning cloth for it, and the mount, and that's pretty much it. If you're wanting to adjust these screws here, you need your own, and these also, those two keys did not come with this optic in the box. But overall, I mean, a great little optic here. I really like it. It's going to be used on one of my airsoft guns, probably my M4, which with the red line unit in it. But it's really a nice piece. So thank you to Feyachi for sending it to me from their store for the review. Definitely going to be using this in the field, and I'm really overall happy with it. So I would say, honestly, out of like 10 out of 10, this would probably rate somewhere around. I'm not one that really uses a lot of these very often, but for what it's worth and what it does for on the airsoft gun, I would say this is probably a good solid 7 or 8 out of 10. Only drawback being maybe it's a little bit heavy for me, and also I didn't like that in this range the picture sight was a little bit fuzzy and kind of grainy. I would like to see it be really clear in all of those positions. But 5 and 1.5, it's crystal clear. It's like you're standing right there looking at them. So I can't complain with that. So that's why I say probably maybe 7 or 8, just for that one reason. And I really do like this, that it locks. You see a lot of those guys, the little spring ones, those are really cool. But I've seen people running around. They could be repros, I'm sure they are. But when they're running around, I've seen them actually flopping on their gun, and that's not cool. And you wouldn't want to do that. This locks solid, and it doesn't move when you're running with the gun or running hard or shaking it. So the mount is actually pretty easy to use too. So definitely 7 or 8. Check them out on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description on the YouTube video here. And let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like running optics like this? Do you run magnifiers on yours? Or do you think they're just for looks with airsoft? I'd definitely love to hear your opinions. So this has been Deranged Professor for Deranged Airsoft, and I'll see you guys out on the airsoft field.